Hey guys, welcome to the Penobscot County Wellness Challenge Q&A. I want to thank you guys for all your hard work over the past 6 weeks. I know we've seen some good results so far, and it's all about keeping up, doing the consistent things over and over again, getting your exercise in, and following those daily lessons that I send out. So everything does add up. I know I preach it all the time, but consistency, and I know over these 8 weeks we'll get some good results. But it's about what we do after as well. You have to keep it going, little things each and every day. So thank you for sending in questions. I also have some questions sent in from some of my members at my gym. So I'm going to combine some of those because they had some good questions as well. So let's get started. Hopefully it won't keep you here too long, but definitely save this video and watch it because I'm going to be giving you some good nuggets. So number one, the question is, my health and wellness question is about protein shakes as a meal replacement or snack. Yay or nay? I often have one for breakfast or for a snack when I'm on the go. So I'm not a huge fan of meal replacements, but I can make a sacrifice. It's better than nothing or stopping at the drive-through of Dunkin' Donuts. So, if you're in a pinch, that is okay. For a snack, they are okay. I know we've gone through a unit where I'm trying to get you to not snack, but really the goal there is the mindless grazing on bad foods and even good foods. If we eat too much of them, those calories do add up. So for a snack, they are okay. I am a big believer in a protein shake, especially for my post-workout. But you just need to be careful when it comes to the nutrition label. So check it out because a lot of them are loaded with added sugars. So just be careful there. Look at your nutrition label. Question number 2, can you foam roll too much? Carol asked that. Yeah, you can, but that would require a lot of foam rolling. My advice is just to keep it to a few minutes. I'm a big fan of the foam roller. I think it's very important. I keep it a few minutes before your workout and after your workout, or you can do it at home. I do it at home just to get warmed up for the day, work out the kinks from sleeping at night. But really, foam rolling is designed to work out those kinks. It's like a cheap massage, and the idea is to get the blood and nutrients flowing to those regions. You are foam rolling. So the one rule, though, is roll over muscles, not joints. So you don't want to go directly over the hip joint. You don't want to go directly over the kneecap, things like that. Next question, how to manage diet and exercise through menopause? Okay, that's a good question. That's tough because your body is going through hormonal changes, but really the same can be said for the aging process. As we age, whether we like it or not, we start to lose muscle mass after the age of 30. So I am losing muscle mass. That's just I'm 30 years old. But the key is like anything, doing the little things consistently. I wouldn't change a thing except listen to your body. Eat good foods, get good sleep, exercise regularly. That's strength training, cardio, flexibility, getting all of that in. Things might be a little different, especially as we age or through menopause. You might need less calories, might not need to eat as much, and obviously your exercise intensity may change slightly as we age. So maybe you're not doing box jumps, maybe you're just doing squat jumps, but not going quite as high. But overall, the same things apply. Just do things consistently, and if you do that over time, good things are going to happen. Next, how long does it take to get into a good, consistent routine? Okay, if anyone knows me, I love my routines. I think that's the key to be successful in whatever you do. You need good routines. You need good habits. That's the $1 million question. Some say 21 days, some say longer. There's an expert out there on habits, and he's the author of Atomic Habits. It's a book that's certainly on my list. I've listened to him on podcasts. His name is James Clear, and he has research that says it takes 66 days to form a habit. So over this challenge, it doesn't even run 66 days. It runs about 60. So the key is, and I preach it all the time, is to get 1% better every single day and do the little things, because the little things add up over time. Nothing happens overnight. If there's anything you can take from this and anything you take from this challenge, nothing happens overnight. So keep this in mind. Changes happen over time. And if it takes 66 days to form a habit, then you need to put in the work every single day. So that's 66 days, over 2 months. Next question, why am I more sore the day after a workout than the day of? So that's part of the recovery process. There are going to be days when you're more sore than others. There are going to be days when you're not sore. Being sore isn't necessarily means you got a great workout in. You can get a great workout in and not be sore the next day. But basically, when you work out, when you're training, you are tearing up your muscles in an effort to build them back up bigger and stronger. They're micro tears, so they're not like your muscle's not coming off the bone. But muscle soreness is a side effect of the stress you put on your muscles when you exercise. There are going to be days when you're more sore. And usually that's when you've done a new activity or increased the intensity or started a new regimen. But good recovery techniques, this is key. Light cardio, keep moving. Don't just sit all day. Stretching, regular stretching, foam rolling, and make sure you hydrate. Next question, why do you advise against sit-ups? So I used to be a big fan of sit-ups because really that's all I knew. However, after reading and going to conferences and getting a better understanding of human anatomy, sit-ups can put the lower back in a vulnerable position. And not everyone's adopted this, but for me, our training sessions, we don't do sit-ups. There's other ways to train your core more effectively, and more importantly, it's safer. During a sit-up, your lumbar spine, that's your lower spine, it's put in a flex position over and over again, and this can cause issues. So if you did one sit-up, it's not going to really cause anything, but over time, if you do a few sets and keep doing that, it can cause issues. And this just isn't me saying it. World-renowned back specialist, a guy named Dr. Stuart McGill, his research shows this. Strength and conditioning legend Mike Boyle, former strength and conditioning coach for the Bruins, has done some work with the Red Sox. So instead of adding a ton of movement to your core training, it's better to do exercises that actually resist forces. So this is things like planks, dead bugs, carrying weights. So farmer carries weights by your side, suitcase carry one weight, overhead carries, things like that. Using the resistance bands, Palloff presses, so resistance band presses from the chest in and out. And basically, you're just resisting the forces, but still working your core, and it's much safer. Next question. My question is in regards to nutrition, specifically the nutritional value of brown rice versus wild rice, and is either considered whole grain. Okay, here's I took this right off the internet. Brown rice, less processed, it's a whole grain. Okay, white rice, more processed, not a whole grain. So after rice is harvested, its inedible hull must be removed, and this results in a whole grain rice kernel, which is usually brown rice, and it's ready to eat. If the rice is milled further, the bran and germ are removed, resulting in white rice with lower levels of nutrients. So basically, the more processed it gets, the lower the level of nutrients. So brown rice is a little more nutritional value to it. So good question. Next question. My question would be, what kind of training would you need to run a half marathon? That's a great goal and something I am training for myself. I haven't really mapped it out yet, but my race is in October. I've done I run regularly, but nothing specific on a specific program. But the key here is a long-term plan. There are some good running plans online by some good coaches out there. That's what they do. But my general rule of thumb with anything is use reverse engineering with your training. So basically what that means is if you know you're going to have to run 13.1 miles on a certain date, let's work back from there. Let's reverse engineer it. So, maybe the month before we're at 11 or 12. We want to slowly build it up, but we're working backwards. So you will need a few runs per week, as well as strength and flexibility recovery work. For running personally, I usually like to do a long run, a medium run, and some sort of interval speed run. That works for me. But reverse engineer and kind of go from there, and that's with any goal. Next, my question is, I don't have a Fitbit or count calories. I just want to keep it simple. I've always eaten whatever I wanted, haven't exercised, and still look pretty good for my age. Recently, however, whether it is to be my metabolism has changed or what, maybe the winter has slowed me down, but I could use some guidance on losing my muffin top. What is one way that I can be sure I'm doing what needs to be done to lose some weight? All right. So first off, weight can fluctuate based on fluid and types of food you've eaten. Okay, that's just how it is. So you could do everything right one day, and the next day you've gained weight. That doesn't mean you've gained a pound of fat. That doesn't happen overnight. It's just not it's not real. So this can be types of food. So foods that are high in sodium, that's going to cause you to retain more water. So obviously you're going to weigh a little bit more. In order to lose weight, you got to adopt a long-term approach. There's no short-term approach that works. If you only think short-term and you keep trying different things and don't give something the full attention, if you keep yo-yoing, you're not going to reach your weight loss goal, plain and simple. But you need to keep doing what you're doing. It's hard work, but if you consistently exercise, sleep well, and eat well, you will get there. It doesn't happen overnight. My advice, though, is if the scale is kind of making you go crazy, if you're up one day, down one day, daily weight checks can make you go crazy. So I'd advise against that. And search for wins every single day, whether that's, hey, I got a good half-hour workout in. Hey, I didn't really have time today to work out, but I took the stairs and did 5 minutes of stairs. Hey, I meal prepped. Look for those wins every single day, and that's going to help you over the long run. Okay. Next, as we get older, are there certain exercises that help jumpstart our weight loss better than if we were still young? Should we concentrate more on cardio or weights, or an equal combination of both? So equal combination, there really is no such thing as a jump start. You just have to concentrate on a well-balanced exercise plan, regular cardio, 2 to 3 strength training days per week, and also flexibility. If you do that consistently, you will have a successful training regimen. But keep that up. Next question, when do you walk it off, as my husband tells me? When do you rest, and when do you see a doctor? I realize you're not in the medical field, but do you have suggestions? So yes, I'm not a medical professional, and don't want you to be working out if you're hurt. If you're in pain, you don't want to be doing activities that hurt it. However, there is something to be said for working through the pain from time to time. Walking it off is when you have a kink here or there and you work it out. And we've all had those. If you've had a pulled muscle spasm or something along those lines, you'd really know it. I advise resting. Definitely rest. Of course, though, you can work other body parts. So if you have a lower body injury, that should not prohibit you from working upper body. But in general, it's a good idea to rest and recover that area. If you have a nagging injury that hasn't gotten better with rest, or something is just really bothering you, definitely go see a doctor. You need to go see a doctor. They'll fix you up. That's their job. Next question kind of goes along the same line. When do you work out when you have a cold starting or just feel blah? I've worked out and sometimes I'm able to knock it out of my system. Other times it's knocked me out. So it's good to stay active, and I agree that it feels good to get a sweat in sometimes when we feel like we're coming down with something. But the best recipe for getting over a cold or an illness, rest. Your body is fighting something off, and um, you're in a vulnerable state. So rest, good nutrition, hydration, and don't overdo it with exercise. And that's a good way to fight it. Next, one thing I would like to have you address at your presentation is the timing of eating when you are working out. Spent the last 4 weeks getting my eating habits under control, and now that I have done that, I'm finding a challenge in figuring out if I eat dinner before the gym or after the gym. If I eat my dinner first, what do I do after? So that's a great question. That's really going to depend, vary depending on your schedule and routine. So really depends on when you get out of work. And when you work out. So for me, I can eat mostly anything before working out. That's just how I am. However, I don't really advise that. Instead, if you have, less than an hour before your workout, I don't advise having a meal. Instead, have something light before your workout to kind of hold you over. That could be just something with protein and carbs, fruit, nutrition bar with really no added sugars in it. Just something light that will hold you over. That helps. If you do have time and eat dinner beforehand, so usually an hour or more, I'd really just advise the opposite approach for after. Just eat something light after your workout, your post-workout, whether that's your protein shake or something with light carbs, like a piece of fruit. So this will vary for everyone, but try not to think about it too much. Instead, just find whatever makes you feel better. All right. Next one, on the lines of metabolism. Obviously, a faster metabolism means you burn fat quicker and all that. So how would you be able to measure your metabolism if you're not losing weight or losing it quickly? So try not to overthink it, but yes, sure, a faster metabolism, or the more metabolic you are, the more calories you're burning at all times. As we age, like I said earlier, we start to lose muscle mass, so that means we are less metabolic. That's just life. Our metabolism slows. To become more metabolic, though, it's all about getting leaner. It's all about increasing our muscle mass and getting rid of fat, excess fat. The leaner you are, the more metabolic you are. As far as measuring metabolism, that requires some in-depth analysis and expensive lab equipment. Basically, you'd be hooked up to a treadmill with oxygen mask. You'd go through some tests on some computers. They have them at universities and these labs, but don't worry about that. Instead, just keep doing the little things right. I know I preach it. I know it's not the sexiest answer. I know, wouldn't it be easier if I just said take this pill? But if I said that, if that worked, then everyone would be lean and we wouldn't have anything to work toward. Next one, along the same lines, if smaller portions of meal things doesn't work to help boost metabolism, what else can you do? For nutrition-wise, there isn't technically a way to speed up your metabolism. You just need to find what works best for you and in your schedule. If smaller portions and more meals works for you, and you feel satisfied and you have energy, do it. For some people that works. For some people, just having two big meals per day works. Find what works best for you, but the same things apply. You have to eat good foods. You can't just, if you ate 6 small meals, but it was foods with no nutritional value, it doesn't really work. So continue eating well, get sleep, exercise regularly, and do it over time, and good things will happen. Next question. My question is regarding intermittent fasting. Is it effective in the aspect of not mindless grazing, but limiting the time you can eat? So I've never done intermittent fasting before, but I've seen some people have success and others have not. It's really about what fits in your life. I wouldn't advise it, but if it works for you, great. And it could, however, keep you from mindless grazing, just because you're limited to that window of eating. But it is a little crazy, just like eating for 4 hours, and you can't eat outside of that I don't necessarily agree with that, but if it works for you and you get results, more power to you. But the same things apply. You just have to eat good foods. You can't eat processed crap. Eat good foods, and good things will happen. Next question. This is one of my favorites. My question is, how do you stay positive and not let things you can't control go? This is hard for me because I overthink things, stress myself out, and give myself anxiety, all because I've not figured out how to let it go. In this challenge, I want to focus on me and how I'm doing, but then I hear or see others not being committed, then it makes me annoyed, frustrated, and feel slighted. This is when I try to say it doesn't matter to me, but when it still feels like it does. You seem very positive, dedicated, and passionate, and that is where I want to be. Any ideas are greatly appreciated. Thank you. That's a great question. And this is something we all struggle with. I struggle with it. Absolutely, 100%. I might not show it, but, I compare myself to others. There's as a one-man show for my business, I'm trying to do everything and trying to do everything really well, and sometimes that's super hard. But the key is focusing on what you can control and stay in your lane. If we worry about others all the time, we'll always be stuck in that state of anxiety and not good enough feeling, and that's not what life's about. So a few tips that help me. Number one, be around positive people. Who's in your inner circle? Do you have energy vampires? People that suck the energy out of the room. They're always negative. Get those out of your life. Really, if they're in your family, then just try not to hang out with them as much. Number two, every day write down one of your wins. It can be small or it can be big. Write down one of your wins. This really helps. Number three, personal development is real. You got to read books. Reading books changed my life. Listen to videos and podcasts of inspirational people. Yeah, changed my life. Learn, keep learning, always learn, and develop yourself personally. This is very important because it's going to help you professionally as well. Number four, smile. Smile, even if it's a cheesy one. Smile, even if it's forced. Okay. Number five, do your best. Some days you just don't have it. You're not going to have a great day every single day, but do your best on that given day with what you have. Number six, it doesn't happen overnight and is never truly finished. You're always evolving and growing. You just need to remember that. You're always a work in progress. We always are, but keep striving for greatness. And then number seven, you can do it, and helping one person, being that positive person, is worth it. So those are some good tips. That's a great question. Next question, what can I replace a burpee with that will give me as much result without the shoulder impact? She has rotator cuff issues. The same with plank. So burpees are a little tough on the shoulders and back, so I'd advise against that anyway. If planks give you the same issue, my advice is to elevate your plank, make it a little easier. So that basically set up a step, a chair, or a box. What that does is you elevate your body. It takes some of the pressure off, but still strengthens those muscles. Over time, you can then lower yourself to the floor. The same can be done with push-ups. You can limit your range of motion. You can do them off a box, something elevated. Just be careful there. And then to kind of simulate burpees, you can add a squat or squat jump, and that's a much safer way. Next question, body type, diets and exercise, ectomorph, mesomorph, endomorph. Keep this simple, no diets, don't diet. Need to find what fits for you. It's not sexy, but limiting portions, eating good foods, regular exercise, cardio, strength, and core, flexibility. Don't overthink it depending on your body type, but there are different body types, just don't overthink it. Next question, have you found or researched what you feel is best in regards to eating late before bed or eating and skipping breakfast? So for me, I eat breakfast, and that's an integral part of my nutrition. I wake up really early. However, if you don't eat breakfast and it fits your lifestyle, fine. That's okay. I don't want you to force you to eat. What I don't want you to do, though, is eating a lot of snacks, okay, or a gigantic lunch because you didn't eat breakfast. As for eating before bed, as long as it's good, healthy food and not a ton of it, you're okay. The tempting thing, though, before bed is to snack on junk food, though. If you've had a stressful day, let's eat our feelings. Let's have chips. Let's have ice cream. Let's have all that stuff. So eating too much or bad foods before bed can lead to interrupted sleep due to digestion. You're digesting that food, heartburn, etc. Next question: what supplements, if any, should I be taking? There is so much out there for supplements and protein bars and powders, and I am overwhelmed by it all. I feel like I should be taking some, but I have no idea what. Also, should I be consuming something pre and post-workout, like a protein bar or shake? I've heard that chocolate milk is a good post-workout option, but I'm not sure if that is a myth. So that's a tough one and a confusing one, and I hear you. There are a lot out there. There are a lot of supplements. It's a huge industry. But here's my advice. Foods first, supplements second. Foods need to be your number one priority. Here's what I take. I take a multivitamin. A lot of people say, you pee some of it out. That's true. But if I have some sort of deficiency, it can help solve that. If I'm not getting everything from food, it can help shore up those deficiencies. Number 2, I take an athletic green shake. Doesn't taste great, but it keeps my immune system on point. And I never get sick, guys. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. Number 3, fish oil. I do eat fish, but good omega-3s, fish oil supplement. Number 4, protein shake post-workout. The things to watch for are added sugars in protein shakes. You need one that has less added sugar. And I can send you a link to one I use. It's super low in that department. For nutrition bars, I eat RX bars. I really like them. They're my favorite. It's barely any ingredients. And the great thing about that, if a nutrition label has 1 million ingredients, it usually means it's pretty well processed. So less ingredients, less processed. Chocolate milk, that can be okay post-workout, but it's a lot of calories. So just be careful there. And I prefer a protein shake post-workout and a piece of fruit. Pre-workout, you can just something that's not heavy on your stomach, maybe a piece of fruit, give you a little bit of energy. But if you work out fine on an empty stomach, then that works for you. The last question: when exercising with an existing injury, should you exercise with a different level as the injured side? So great question, because you don't want to cause more imbalance. First off, the key is pain. I don't want you in pain. If it hurts you, stop doing it. Find something, even if it is a lighter weight, to help that area. So maybe you have a rotator cuff injury. Maybe it's doing band work, light band work to help strengthen that area. Maybe it's using a light dumbbell. But to answer your question, I recommend finding activities that you can do for both sides equally or right around the same weight or resistance, because you don't want to create those crazy imbalances, and then that can cause more problems. So basically do the best you can with what you got, and that's my advice. So guys, that's all the questions I had. Those are great questions. I hope you got some good nuggets out of there. A lot of information coming your way. So I appreciate it. I appreciate your hard work sending in those questions. And I love doing things like this. So if you ever have any questions, please reach out, and I'd be happy to answer them. So keep up the great work and have a great day.